Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series. We're here at the virtual Nashville Superspeedway for round 12 of 12, the season finale to decide who the points championship is going to be. My name's James Eastspring, the Action 1080p 60 frames a second on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, and looking forward to another fantastic night as we get ready to grid them up and get this party started. Starting on pole, Jason Griffith. In the number 21 machine, John Kane starts second. Charles Darling starting third. Nathan Henry starting fourth. David Patton starts fifth. We've got Matthew Catania starting sixth. Ron Hart starting seventh. Andrew Payne starting eighth. Michael Sturgill starting ninth. Brett Hahn starting 10th. Seth Harrelson starts 11th. Billy Thomas starting 12th out on the grid. Cycle to back, we've got Jerry starting 13th. Tanner Tallarico starting 14th. And John Sinu rounding out the 15-driver field. We've got Eric Hahn join us in the spectator area. I would imagine he's cheering on Brett, who's going to be starting pretty far down the standings, starting in 10th, the number 71 machine. And this will be the first heat of the night, 10 laps. Also, a big shout out to Tanner Tallarico's dad, chipping in $40 that'll be awarded to 4 random drivers tonight. Pace truck is in. And let's go racing. Number 21 of Griffith with a massive launch as the field stacks up behind. Looks like David Patton has a terrible launch there. The number 38 falls back towards the standings rather quickly, and already they're bumping and grinding up front. That was the 59 of Nathan Henry, getting to the back ever so slightly of John Kane. And Griffith has a little bit of a breakaway, but look at that, Hart closing the gap. You also got Sturgill third, Catania in fourth, Harrelson fifth. Oh, and we got a big crash. Looks like that was Billy Thomas and Charles Darling getting tied up in that one, able to get off the track. We'll keep things rocking and rolling as up front things are getting even more heated, especially for that second place spot. You've got Hart, Catania, Sturgill all in the mix here. Now this is definitely a far reach from the short tracks we've been running in the past, as it looks like Hart got it to the side of Griffith. He's going to take over the race lead, coming down the start-finish line straight just out of 4, putting that front bumper to work. And here comes Catania up the inside line as well, maybe going to pay the favor forward, as poor Griffith getting bumped around there, falls back to third, the number 21 machine. And now it's going to get Ron Hart a chance to breathe. He's 2/10 ahead of Catania and Sturgill side by side through 3 and 4. You've got Hahn and Griffith also side by side right behind. And these guys are really leaning on each other out here. Catania trying the outside line. Hahn working the inside groove through 1 and 2. Now, I had the chance to drive this track a little bit in these super late models before tonight's main event. Let me tell you, even though it's a much bigger track, these super late still a handful to hold on to. As it looks like Andrew Payne, the 93 machine, Goon Squad back machine, starting to close up the field as well. He's up 3 spots. But Sturgill and Hahn running second and third are up 7 positions each. As we continue watching Hahn on the inside line, he's trying to edge out Catania. Catania really working that side draft whenever he can find it, as Andrew Payne finds himself at home in the inside line. Your top 2, Hart, Sturgill, getting the slightest bit of breakaway, as the field has about 4 or 5 drivers still duking it out for that final podium spot in this heat race. Payne looks to the inside line of Hahn. Looks like Han has just a little bit better drive coming out of 2. But Payne's going to throw it in deep into 3 and 4 and see if he can take over that final podium spot. It's showing Payne has the position. Will Han be able to fight back as Payne's going to put his focus forward, trying to close that 3/10 advantage that Hart and Sturgill have linked up nose to tail out front. Speaking of up front, we've got action. Here comes Sturgill, the number 90 machine, back up the inside line of Hart's 51. And now Andrew Payne in third has closed the gap as well. So with 3 laps left to go, still anybody's guess who's going to bring it home here as Payne sends it up the inside line. Looking for a second place, if not higher. Payne very fast in practice in that 93 machine as he's about a half car length behind Ron Hart. And don't count out Han as well in the 71. Hart and Payne side by side, punching a massive hole through the air, allowing the field to stack back up. Sturgill, look at that rear view mirror, knows how exciting it is. There's contact between Payne and Hart. Payne takes over the second place spot. Now here comes Brett Hahn working the inside line, trying to get around Hart. The white flag will be out this time by, and it looks like Payne not going to be able to get his breath back yet as Hart holding on to in the outside line. He's also got Hahn linked up right behind the 71. A white flag coming out for the starting heat race of the evening. Sturgill holds about a quarter of a second advantage as Payne and Hart still side by side in second. Hahn, Harrelson rounding out the top 5. Payne going to defend that inside line as fiercely as he possibly can. As they make their way through 3 and 4, the final time here tonight, it's going to be Michael Sturgill picking up the win, and they crash behind. And I think Seth Harrelson, careening around in the 07 machine, is actually going to take home third place as the field comes barreling in. Let's see if we can grab a quick replay of that before we roll into the next session. Payne trying to hold on to second. And we're focused in on Joseph Griffin. No, we're looking for the 07, and unfortunately we're going to miss the replay as the session swaps over. But what a wild finish to the heat race. We're going to try and get a quick confirmation from race control to see if these drivers are going to come say hello in the waiting room. So we're going to try and get Michael Sturgill up here in the booth with us. Up first, we got Michael Sturgill join us. Mike, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Mike, what a start to the evening. Were you expecting it to be that frantic towards the end, and how happy were you to have that track position as everybody else was throwing elbows out behind you?
Yeah, I figured it was going to be pretty hectic, and then the initial start, I made up a ton of spots because people were, I guess someone missed a shift or something. But yeah, when I settled into second, I just had to work over Ron, and then once I got the lead, I try to make sure the guys behind me were even, so I'd give a little draft to whichever lane was lagging, and it worked out.
Track position being king. Now we have a 50-lap main event coming tonight. What's your expectations for this race? How do you think it's going to go? Are we going to see a relatively clean race, or is it going to be a rough one for everybody out there?
I think it should be clean, at least in the beginning. I think coming down towards the last 10-15 laps, it might get a little hairy, but hopefully for the most part clean.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it, Mike. A great win to start off the night to cap off the end of the season. Who do you want to give a quick shout out to that helped you bring home the win there?
Just give a shout out to you and everyone at Team Goon Squad for putting these on, and Tanner and all the admins of the league. It's a good league. Usually it runs pretty clean, so that's always good. Everyone watching, which includes my dad and my girlfriend, and I think that's it.
Awesome, Michael. Great job. I'm going to wish you the best of the luck in the main event here this evening.
Thank you.
That was Michael Sturgill bringing home the win.
User was moved out of your channel.
Try and get things corrected for him. So a great race to start things off. Let us know. We see Mr. Ericon saying what a great finish, and I would tend to agree. I think if that is any sign of how this main event is going to go, I think we're all in for a treat here tonight. Now, coming into this race, drivers were talking about how they may be a little bit light on fuel. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go over the stretch of 50 laps in this main. Also important to remember, no fast repairs here for the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series. What that means, if you see a driver wadding up their machine, they've got to fix it the old-fashioned way under caution. Big hammers and a little bit of Flex Seal. Drivers getting their last little bit of practice during the warm-up. Looks like Payne's going to be fastest with a 31.07. Now, there were no cautions for the heat race, and I'm fairly certain that caution laps do not count for the main, so it'll be very interesting for me to see how strategy is going to play out and how fuel management could be becoming a factor here this evening. And as always, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. The drivers frequently have their broadcast pulled up on a separate device. And if not, they just about always go back and watch it afterwards. So let them know. They'll see you in the spectator area. And they, as well as myself, always appreciate the fans from across the world helping making these broadcasts as well as this league such a success. On feeling good in practice, dropped down to a 30.95. Got Josh joining us in the spectator area as well. And it looks like warm-up gonna come to a close. And we're gonna get things ready for the season finale. We've got Jake here cheering on Brett Hahn. Madge cheered on the number 14 machine. And let's get ready, ladies and gentlemen, to end the season on the highest of possible notes. Michael Sturgill starting on pole. Andrew Payne starts second. Seth Harrelson starting third. Matthew Catania starting fourth. Brett Hahn starts fifth. David Patton starting sixth. Ron Hart starts seventh. Nathan Henry starting 8th. We've got Jason Griffith starting 9th. John Sinu starting 10th. Jerry starting 11th. John Kane starting 12th. Cycling it back one more time. Billy Thomas starts 13th. Charles Darling starting 14th. And that will round out the drivers out on track. Looks like Fort Wayne, Indiana in the house tonight. As we wait for, it looks like it's going to be Jason Griffith has yet to get out on pit road. Hopefully that number 21 machine can get it fired up, get out on track. Does not look like he will be able to in time. Hopefully he did not have some sort of real-life mechanical. As on that front row, it's Sturgill and Payne, Harrelson, Catania, your second row. Patton, Hahn, your third row. 50 laps, and we're going to decide a championship here and now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all again so much for supporting the entirety of the season. I'm filling in for Mason Heimball, who's been your normal announcer for this series. And I know he would like to extend his thanks as well to the fans that made such a fantastic season possible for drivers, league admins, broadcasters alike. 13 drivers out on track. Pace truck is in. Sturgill will control the start, the number 90 machine. Right side of your screen, Payne and the Goon Squad back, 93 in the left side. And away they go. Sturgill gets a great launch. Harrelson following him up the inside line. Now you heard Sturgill earlier talking about trying to work that draft and let the other drivers link up to keep the battle behind them. And it looks like that's going to hand... Oh, I thought it was going to give Payne a chance to break away, catch the draft, but Harrelson, Hahn, Catania all right there in the mix. Now coming into tonight's race, we were told about 10 points separating some of the drivers. Unfortunately, the points not updated on the race control system. So we'll know as soon as you know who's going to bring home the championship. From my understanding, Hahn was in the mix. I'm going to try and get that pulled up here on one of my separate devices. As Payne continues to pressure the race leader, Michael Sturgill. They've got about a 4/10 breakaway away from Seth Harrelson, who sits in third, and Payne just clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 30.82. 700ths faster than Sturgill, and here comes Payne up the inside line. Coming into tonight, I believe Brett Hahn was the points leader. Ron Hart got shuffled into second. Those are two drivers we're going to have to keep an eye on as Payne and Sturgill continue the battle for the lead, side-by-side action. That may allow Harrelson to slowly close the gap in third. As Sturgill once again takes over the race lead from the 93 of Payne. Both drivers know every time they're going side-by-side, Harrelson watching and waiting in third, starting to close that gap, now down to a quarter of a second. Payne fires back at Sturgill on the inside line. As we go on board with Seth Harrelson's 07 machine, he's got a bird's eye view, and he has very rapidly closed the gap, and now it's a three-car battle for the lead. Payne, Sturgill still side-by-side. Harrelson looking for a way through in the 07 machine, the white and gold. Now, it's not often we see three-wide racing in super late models, but I think here in Nashville that could possibly be in the cards, as now Brett Hahn, the 71 machine, starting to close the gap up as well. He was in fourth, still fourth, up one spot. But I think Payne and Sturgill going at it so fiercely, gonna slow down the race pace a little bit and maybe allow the rest of the field a chance to catch up and interject themselves into the party. Payne, the black and pink number 93, Sturgill, the silver red 90, and Harrelson, the white and gold 07. And keep an eye out on Brett Hahn. That World War II-esque 71 painted machine has closed the gap. Doesn't look like Hahn wants to press the issue too much quite yet. Maybe let these guys ahead of him burn up a little bit of tires. And that may allow that 71 machine to snake right on through. He knows it's got to be a good points night for him if he wants to lock up the championship. And very impressed with Sturgill and Payne. They've been side by side or nose to tail at the very least for just about every lap here in Nashville. Payne still on the outside line. Now it's going to be Sturgill's time on the inside. Now in the heat race, we saw some front bumpers coming into effect. I think right now, drivers are going to be very, very polite, very mindful of how they're acting. But later on in the race, when a championship could be decided, I think these guys are going to be a little bit less polite. Although they all are great friends on and off the track, and I still can't believe Payne and Sturgill absolutely shadowing each other here. Harrelson and Hahn have caught up, as well as Catania. The top 5 all within 0.4 of a second. The laps rapidly cooling off. About 39 laps left to go here in Nashville. And looks like just about the whole field has closed the gap. About 1 second separating the top 8 drivers as it stands. And Sturgill and Payne came to put on a show, and they are doing exactly that for the fans across the world. Side by side, just about 12 laps in a go. Payne up 1 spot. Sturgill trying to regain his race lead and make it a back-to-back night after winning the sprint race, but he's going to have his hands full with Payne, and you can't count out Harrelson and Hans. Now let's go a little bit further back in the pack. There's Catania, the number 18 machine, tucked in right behind Brett Hahn. You see Ron Hart, the 51 machine, sitting in 6th. And this is a pack of 10 drivers all linked up. And I think a lot of the guys just waiting for any sort of mistake, any sort of bobble out of the top 2. Now we knew if there were cautions, fuel was going to be concerned, and with how fast these guys are ripping around the track, how is tire wear going to be, especially on that right rear tire? As these drivers tend to lean on it a little bit with the throttle. Payne showing ahead by just 0.02 of a second, coming through 1 and 2. And Sturgill fires back down the back stretch, but no, Sturgill has a big blink. The number 90 machine has disappeared. Where did Sturgill go? And it looks like, what misfortune, the number 90 machine may have disconnected. Still showing in the racer lobby. Absolute gut-wrenching, as Sturgill was running so strong, putting on a great show for Andrew Payne. Now it's going to be Harrelson's turn to try and close that gap up. He was holding on to a 3rd place spot. All of a sudden now in 2nd with a possible chance at a win right in front of him. And we know from the rest of the season, Brett Hahn mighty fast in the 71. It looks like things getting a little bit calmer, at least inside the top 3, but you still have Ron Hart and Catania side by side in the battle for 4th. Catania trying to work the outside line against Hart's 51 machine right behind. That's David Patton, hoping to close the gap up. But I think we're at the point where tire wear is starting to fall off. These machines are going to be a little bit tougher to make those gutsy passes on. And has anyone saved any tires here? Now there are none additional tires behind the wall for these drivers. Get what you started on, and that is it. As it looks like now Patton trying to make a move on Catania. If he can work that 38 special machine a little bit higher up to get inside the top 5. As up front, Andrew Payne has built up a 3/10 advantage over Harrelson. Harrelson 6/10 up over Hahn. As we check back in on your race leader, Payne, that's what a 3/10 gap looks like. Now Payne's in a good spot here. He's got clean air on the front of that 93 machine. Doesn't have to push too hard, too aggressively. And now's the point of his run where he can just focus on tire management and making sure he's going to have enough fuel in the tank, literally and figuratively, to make it all the way to the end of those quick lap times. Last time by, Payne and Harrelson, as well as pretty much everybody inside the top 5, all running 31.2s, mid 31.2s to higher. The pace seems very, very equal amongst the drivers. As I think Brett Hahn has closed the gap now to Harrelson. We're going to have a battle for second. Payne's got to be happy about this. Every time drivers behind him start their battle, it's going to slow down the pace, add some more cars into the mix, and allow that 93 machine to try and step away. Payne still holding just shy of a half-second advantage. Hahn looking for a way around the 07. But the field getting pretty bunched up here from second place back. Lap times remaining just about equal across the board. Oh no, and we get terrible news from behind the wall from Michael, the number 90 machine. His iRacing crashed second time. It has happened to that number 90 machine while leading the last 2 weeks, so absolutely devastating. Not how you want to cap off such a fantastic season, so really feeling it for the number 90. But we've got problems elsewhere on track. John Sinu has taken an off-track excursion, it looks like through the infield. Gets it back fired up, so no caution. Let's take a quick look, see what happened. The number 86 machine. Oh my goodness. Rode up the fence there before spinning it around. So the fact that he wasn't involved in a worse incident, absolutely spectacular. I thought for certain we were going to see that number 86 machine go up and over. Sinu, I think, about to come down pit road as Andrew. Yes, there's Sinu coming down the access road. Not wanting to get tied up with the leaders. He's got to be limping along here after that wild, wild ride he took. And here's the battle for second. Harrelson, Hahn. Hahn looking up the inside line against Harrison's 07 machine through 1 and 2. And now Ron Hart, the 51 machine, joining the party. We are at the halfway mark of today's evening. It's Payne still out front, has built up a 6/10 gap. A 3-car battle for second ensues. Hahn, Hart, Harrelson, all in the mix. Patton in 5th, lagging behind by about 0.2 of a second, but he's got a battle of his own with Catania. Who knew super late models at Nashville Superspeedway were going to be so exciting, especially when you have such talented drivers out on track, an absolutely stacked field here. And so far, things still staying heated. Hahn has built up a little bit of a gap over the 71 machine, the 51 machine of Hart. think David Patton just had problems on the 38 machine. We saw him have a rough start early on, and now he's involved in just about a 3-car battle. You've got Harrelson, Darling, Patton, Henry, all in the mix here. As still moves being made all across the track. Here's Charles Darling, David Patton battling for the 6th place spot. Darling up 7 spots so far in the 88. Having a rough go in qualifying, making 8 spots as he's along the outside line of Patton. Started off in about 14th, worked his way, now battling for that 6th, 7th place spot. This is the closest battle we have out on track between Patton, Darling, and Henry, the 3-car battle for 6th. Up front, your race leader Payne still holding on to about a half-second advantage over Hahn. Hahn run about 0.06 of a second faster than your race leader last time by with 20 laps left to go. It's going to be interesting to see if they can close the gap. As we check in with race leader Andrew Payne, the number 93 machine. There's Hahn in the background in the top left. Hart still relatively within striking distance, but with 19 laps left to go and not too many close battles out on track besides that 3-car battle for 6th. It's looking like we could run this thing green all the way out to the end. That's how these drivers want to end the season, on the highest of notes. As we go a little bit further back, Darling and Henry still. There's been side-by-side action just about every lap here tonight. Definitely not a dull one at Nashville for fans or racers alike. This is the type of driving all these guys absolutely love, being able to go wheel-to-wheel, side-to-side, side-by-side with drivers you can absolutely trust not to ruin your race. Hahn slowly closing the gap to Payne, now down to 0.4 of a second between 1st and 2nd. And let's go back up front. Hahn slowly closing the gap down to about 1/4 of a second. And it looks like Hart's staying right there with them. Top 3 points racers all in the top 3. I think when you get about 5 laps left to go, if Hahn and Hart can close the gap, the old chrome horn may come into play here. Guys have the talent to move each other around a little bit, rough each other up just the slightest bit, knowing that everybody can hold on to it here. And on the other side of the coin, these guys are all extremely clean, so extremely good at what they do. And it looks like your top 3 all within a half-second of each other. Oh, this is good. 14 laps left to go. And it looks like Hahn has closed the gap. Hart following him up there. Oh, this is going to be exciting, ladies and gentlemen. Top 3 drivers in points, all up in the mix. What are we going to see? Hahn, the 71 machine, has caught Andrew Payne, the 93. Was Payne able to conserve a little bit tires while he was up there in no man's land? as Hahn right off the back bumper of the 93. Hart still lagging behind by about a quarter of a second. Trying to pick up that draft, see if he can maybe inject himself up into the party. I think Hahn's in a good spot here, watching to see what Payne is doing, watching the lines out of the 93 machine, and trying to gauge where he may have just a little bit of weakness. The big question is Hahn going to show his cards early, or maybe tuck in behind Andrew Payne, the 93, to see if he can just hold on till the end of this thing, and that way when he tries to make a move, not allowing Payne enough opportunity to fire back. We're 11 laps left to go. Everybody watching with bated breath. If there's going to be fireworks, it could be between these two. As I say that, we go a little bit further still. Look at this frantic battle. That's a 4-car battle for 5th. Darling, Harrelson, Henry, Patton, all in the fray, too wide, briefly going too deep there. Harrelson trying to carry some momentum around the outside line, but that's going to allow Henry up the inside line. Putting that 38 machine of Patton also in the high line. Harrelson goes back low behind Darling. Ten laps left to go. Let's make it 9 as Payne crosses the line. And these 4 drivers battling like it's the lead here in Nashville. Looks like Henry's going to take over the 6th place spot, but for how long in that 59 machine? But oh, we got something going on up front as we've got another battle for the lead. Brett Hahn putting the pressure on Andrew Payne. Took a peek through 3 and 4. Looks like Payne has a little bit better momentum. John Sinu looks like he's leaving pit road after that big incident climbing up the wall. He's going to get a couple of laps here in Nashville at least, after spending 8.5 minutes in his pit stall. So Hahn's starting to throw some jabs against your leader Payne to see what he's got left in the tank. As it looks like Payne not getting that chance to breathe anymore, knowing just the slightest mistake, the slightest bobble will allow Brett Hahn's 71 machine to work up alongside him. Now, Payne has ran just about every line there is to run here in Nashville. We've seen him low, medium, high in his earlier battles for the lead. So we know the 93 machine's confident just about everywhere he goes, but right now he tends to be drifting towards the low line, a bit of a defensive line to try and make Hahn pass him on the long way around the track. 6 laps left to go as your race leaders cross the line. Hahn going to take another shot at it. We know he's not content running in 2nd. Five laps left to go. Here comes Hahn up the inside line. Will Payne be able to answer back, carrying a little bit more momentum? He's got a half car length, but Hahn's going to shut him off through 3 and 4. Now with 4 laps left to go, it's Brett Hahn, your race leader. Andrew Payne no longer has the clean air advantage in the 93 machine. They've broken away from Ron Hart by about 0.6 of a second. 3 laps left to go here in Nashville. Hahn still up front. He's gained 4 positions over the course of the run. Payne tucked in right behind him. wants this last win of the season. He wants it oh so desperately. Now we've got another heated battle going on for the 5th place spot. Darlene, Henry, Patton, and Harrelson still right there with each other, but we can't look away as we're 2 laps left to go. Payne is within striking distance. Will the 93 machine take a shot at the 71? Hahn has been Mr. Consistent so far here tonight. As how's this gonna pan out? Through 3 and 4, Hahn holding about a 1,500th second of an advantage. Payne trying to close the gap. The white flag out here in Nashville. If Payne's gonna take a shot, it's gotta be now. He looks to the inside line through 1 and 2. Hahn holds the advantage. And it looks like Hahn has the drive down the backstretch. Payne trying to put himself in striking distance. He's gonna look to the inside line once more through 3 and 4. Hard on the brakes goes Andrew Payne. Way down low, but Hahn might be able to carry just a little bit more momentum. It's a drag race to the finish. And no, Hahn throws it away at the end. Andrew Payne is gonna bring home the win here in Nashville. Ron Hart finishes 2nd, and Brett Hahn will finish 3rd. Oh my goodness, what a race, and that's what it looks like when some of the top drivers are out here giving it their absolute all. And Andrew Payne probably doesn't quite know what happened right there. And Andrew Payne gonna burn it down in style on the 93 machine. Payne, Hart, Hahn, absolutely ecstatic here tonight. And what an absolutely fantastic Andrew Payne, absolutely deserving his time in the limelight here, as that was such an incredible finish. We're going to start getting these drivers up here into victory lane.
User was moved to your channel.
Up first, we've got Brett Hahn bringing it home 3rd. Brett, you gave it everything you had. You left everything on the track, and unfortunately, what happened there out of 4? Did you push wide, or what exactly did we see there?
Yeah, James, we definitely got tight, and we weren't lifting. It was the white flag lap, and I'm like, well, I'm going to stay in. It gave Andrew plenty of room, but yeah, wall came up too quick. We stayed in the throttle. Luckily, hung on to 3rd, and I think the championship after that, but wow, what a race.
Brett, that was a lot of fun to call, and how much fun is it for you guys to drive? Because I know I'm having a blast up here in the booth. The fans going absolutely wild, but when you're out there on track surrounded by guys you can really trust to drive hard and drive clean, how fun is that for you guys as drivers?
Oh, it's a blast, James, to go out there and know you can trust your fellow competitors. You might get a little bump here and there, but I tell you what, it is a blast to be out there with these guys. And I tell you what, James, I am sweating out here. I was so nervous those last couple laps, and wow, what a race.
A lot of fun, Brett. Definitely a well-deserved podium. I know it's what you weren't what you're looking for, but hey, a points win is a points win. So great job all the way through this season. Been a lot of fun watching you guys duke it out. And Brett, for the final time this season, who do you want to give a shout to that helps make both a 3rd, a championship, as well as this entire season possible?
Yeah, we just did 4 in a row, James, so pretty pumped up from the Brett the Jet team. First and foremost, got to thank everyone at Team Goon Squad out there. Heck of a job by the broadcast. Can't wait to rewatch it. Got to give first and foremost, and after that, shout out to my grandma, Grammy out there. She just got released from the hospital today, so hopefully your recovery goes good, and I'm glad we could pick up another championship. Sadly, not a win. We were trying our heart out there, so got to dedicate this one to her, and hopefully a speedy recovery. Of course, all the other people at ASRC to make this happen. Ron Hart, Andrew Payne, both wheelmen, everyone out there, man, it was such a fun race. Tanner Tallarico for putting on this awesome series. Of course, got to thank the family as well. Mom, dad, brother, all tuning on in. Of course, all the co-workers out there. I know Jam the Man's tuning on in, and anyone else out there from the co-workers. What's up, guys? Got another one, at least a podium to talk to everyone. And of course, some sponsors on the super late model out here. We got Turn 3 Racing Network, QuickTime Motorsports Media, Rogers Cars, RHU. Got to give a big shout out to Dave Payne. He was my fuel man a little bit tonight. And man, wow, what a season, what a race. Sadly, couldn't bring it home in victory lane, but I left it all out there on the table.
Great job, Han. Looking forward to having you back next season. And thank you for such a lot of fun to watch that race tonight.
Yeah, no problem, James. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that at home, and everyone take care, and we'll be back for another season.
All right, yes, sir.
User was moved out of your
That
channel.
was Brett Hahn bringing home a third place. Unfortunately,
was
Ron
moved to
Hart
your
had to
channel.
take the kids to bed. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Andrew Payne, the 93 machine. Snaking home a win, Andrew. What a race. I mean, I've never seen so many two-wide racing for what was supposed to be a short track series.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this track is a little bit bigger than this track kind of offers more than just two wide racing. Kind of being over the 1 mile mark, is kind of abnormal for the series. This is the first time I think we've gone over a mile that isn't a road course. And yeah, you could do a couple, two wide racing and stuff like that. And I've turned laps here in the Xfinity cars in the last month, so I've kind of got a feel for the line of this track. And oh my gosh, I can't believe I won that thing. I'm sort of at a loss for words for how that race went. I thought I was gonna get smoked after halfway, but I guess I saved tires enough, even running 2x2 for as many laps as I did.
Yeah, Andrew, I was about to ask you about that. How much was a concern for tires? Because really, there's not a lot of chance for tire conservation or fuel conservation. You guys are pretty much wide open all the way around, especially with those early two wide racing you have. Were you worried at all you maybe burned up too much during the first half of the race?
That thought did cross my mind, especially racing there with Mike for the first probably 15, 20 laps side by side. I thought my tires could go, but these cars do drive a little bit differently than the cars I'm used to running on this track. And I don't know, it just seemed like I could keep the right front under me when I did get cleaner out front, even though I was, maybe pulling away or at least keeping that margin, decently sized. I think, that was, I think just I was saving tires enough. And I had the cleanest air the entire night, which obviously will help with tire saving. I didn't have to fight any dirty air for the most part until me and Brett started battling. But yeah, the tires, I think I kept them cool enough to where it didn't really affect the long run in the car.
Now, coming from the Xfinity car, which is definitely a driver's car, high horsepower, low downforce, and a lot of dirty air usually plays effect in that series. Did that translate well to the super late model and what was effectively what felt like to me when I was in the car earlier, kind of a cookie cutter style racetrack?
Definitely. I mean, I sort of knew what my braking zones were, not ever having driven these cars here and, my throttle points. And I could actually go into the corners a bit farther and a bit harder than I think you probably needed to. On a hot lap it would be good, but for the long run, the stereotypical line here having that I would run in an Xfinity car worked out because of the slightly less horsepower that these cars have. I mean, we're still running times close to them, so we're not super far out of the ballpark for those cars. But these cars just have more grip, and I think, and these cars just feel like they had more grip overall. So I was able to kind of control it a lot more, and kind of I guess put my laps to good use for once.
Well, you did a great job, man. Of it, the number 93 machine staying relatively clean that entire race, the entire night. A well-deserved win. It came down to a very tight points championship, and more importantly, just some of the best racing I've had the pleasure of calling in a while. So a lot of fun for both myself and the fans here tonight, Andrew. And you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night, as well as this season. So who do you want to give a shout-out to that helped make all this possible for you?
First and foremost, you, James, and Team Goon Squad for broadcasting the season again. You guys have been on for the last couple seasons, and you guys have been putting on some good shows. And we appreciate you guys calling these races. Tanner for putting on the fun series that this is, and the short track series just in general for the last year or so. All the competitors, Brett, Ron, all those guys. We've had some really, really good races this season, and they just keep getting better and better. And without all the competitors that we have right now, we wouldn't be able to put on as good of a show as we do. Um, QuickTime Motorsports Media, Hall Metal Fab, Citrus Heights Saw and Mower, Amplify Esports, V&H Fresh, RogersCars.com. You guys at Team Goon Squad. My parents and grandparents for supporting me. And once again, thank you, James.
Very welcome, Andrew. Thank you for a great season, a great win, and I've never seen a Goon Squad emblem look so good on the top spot. So congratulations, my friend, and hope to see you do well in the SK mods coming up here in a few weeks.
Thank you.
User was moved out of your channel.
And that was Andrew Payne bringing home the final win of the season after just epic battles all the way across the track. But again, it's Andrew Payne in the top spot, Ron Hart finishing second, Brett Hahn finishing third, who we believe locked up the championship. Guys, it's been a great season calling the action between myself and Mason and the other guys over at Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. And for the final time, on behalf of the American Sim Racing Club, the Super Late Model Touring Series, thank you all so much for tuning in, spending each and every Wednesday night with us. We thank you so much to the fans, friends, the racers, and the race officials for making all this possible. My name's been James East. Thank you all so much for your time, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.